Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today is day 2 of our very special broadcast, which is centered around grief for anybody who has lost somebody beloved, or also if you are in the presence of somebody that you love who is grieving. And today I have somebody that's very dear to me, and someone who has sort of grounded me during my own grieving process when I lost my son 21 weeks ago. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Fatima. Fatima is also very focused on emotional healing. She helps people, ladies, especially when it comes with daily struggles, and she is a spiritual coach. Thank you for joining us today.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Fatima, so this topic of emotional healing, I first recognized it on one of your messages that you posted on social media, and I know that grief is slightly different, so it may be taken or removed out of this context specifically. But what was mentioned was that if we don't heal emotionally, this is a veil. This can be a veil between you and Allah. That was the first part of it. And then I remember a few months ago, reading the translation in Surah Baqarah where it said that, Allah promises certain goodness, but Shaitan, on the other hand, promises poverty and all sorts of negative stuff so that we behave differently. How would you understand emotional healing?
Absolutely. And I think that it, it it's actually really important to have this awareness where um, we we are aware that Shaitan is going to keep creeping up on us and making us feel worse than we actually feel. So yes, definitely emotional healing is, or emotions basically, really sometimes cause a veil between us and connecting with Allah Ta'ala. And so when we experiencing any sort of negative emotion, um, it it could be there, and in our fitra, like in our natural state, every human being is very accepting of anything that happens, because we recognize that it it happens because it was Allah Ta'ala's will, and um, it's for our own, like, to get closer to Allah. It's basically something that's going to get us Jannah or whatever it is. So in our fitra, we are very accepting of anything that happens to us, anything bad, whatever it is. But obviously, we are human beings and we have feelings and we have our nafs and our ego and whatever. So it's natural to feel any emotions, grieving, whatever it is. But shaitan can now start to amplify our feelings, so we naturally will accept it, but we obviously feeling it's normal to feel. It's, I mean, even Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam felt grief, he felt sad, he felt angry, he felt everything, and he just allowed himself to feel whatever he was feeling until it was released. And I think that's where it can become something, it can, we allow it to deepen, is we are allowed to feel our feelings, and we mourn and we grieve and we feel angry and we feel a whole lot of emotions, but it's not a lasting um, effect. But because we are dwelling on the emotion and how we're feeling, and it obviously comes from shaitan. He is here, this is how he is going to, he wants us to be further away from Allah, so he's going to use anything to actually get us further away from Allah. So he'll come to you and he'll say, "Oh yeah, like, look, this is the worst thing that you're going through," because Shaitan wants you to feel depressed and angry and sad, and because that just, when we feel all of these negative emotions, our state actually becomes low. So our spiritual state is lower than when we actually are feeling more positive or grateful or whatever it is. And Shaitan is always here to distract us with that, to get us away from Allah. So then that causes that veil between us and Allah, because Shaitan is going to be like, oh, yeah, like Allah took your child away. Maybe it was you, you weren't doing things right. And then, like, there's so many things that go through your mind, so many negative things. And you start blaming yourself and blaming other people, and it's just this whole spiral that keeps going on. And Shaitan is happy because he kind of got you to where, and then it like will also now making you feel maybe angry towards Allah and stuff, and you're doing what you have to do, but now you're not feeling this connection with Allah because you're upset, you're angry, you're like, oh, this Allah took this person away from me, or Allah made me go through this difficulty. I like, maybe you having financial issues or whatever, and that's really such a struggle. But like, we start blaming Allah because Shaitan wants us to obviously have that disconnection between ourselves and Allah, and not really like trust Allah, not see the good in it. So that's where it actually creates that veil. And it's obviously normal to feel your emotions, and you should feel it. Don't obviously run away from it, but there is a balance, there is, like, you need to just sometimes just sit and see where is this like silver lining, where is this fine line between it's okay that I'm feeling this grief, or it's okay that I'm feeling the sadness, because it is something, it's a loss. But when it gets to the other side, where like now it becomes like blame and all of this like really like anger and all of that, that's when it becomes a bit detrimental to you, because that's when Shaitan starts coming in.
And
So
I
I
think
think,
that's and I think that's a very valid point that you make. Shaitan is with the most vulnerable, but also Allah does tell us too that He is with the brokenhearted. So I think in those moments, Shaitan realizes that by
yes.
by sort of pushing us into the spiral, we tend to forget that, hey, Allah is still there, and this was something that was preordained for us. Okay, we are going into a break, and we will be back with Fatima.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
There's no smell that takes me back to the comfort of my childhood than the smell of black seed oil being applied by my nani. Now I'm using Tib black seed in my own home to soothe sniffles and coughs, to help with digestion and immunity, and of course, as part of my beauty routine. After all these years, I've come to appreciate the wisdom in finding comfort and shifa in trusted treatments like Tib black seed. You can find Tib black seed at all leading pharmacies, or find out more at blackseed.co.za.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, yet many children go to school hungry because of poverty. Penny Appeal South Africa's Breakfast Club aims to get a warm, hearty meal to underprivileged children so they can spend their day prospering in their schoolwork. Help feed a needy learner for only 5 Rand a day, or 150 Rand a month. Or visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573 to find out how you can donate. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Albeit Lodge, your true home away from home. Albeit is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Albeit has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albeitlodge.co.za.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
We're gonna see something moving in the bed, and then, oh,
it's gonna be a turtle.
Our Suleiman, he's gonna be a turtle. And then we're gonna be like, oh my God, what happened to our Suleiman? Then how are we gonna make Suleiman come back to normal?
You have to tell Allah to make him back to life.
We need to pray to Allah. Why are you hiding from the camera?
Assalamu alaikum, we are back. That is my son Muhammad, and one of the reasons why we are here today, and we are back with Fatima. Fatima is talking to us about this very important topic about emotionally healing and finding yourself better emotionally so that you can progress or move forward with whatever you are feeling. And I think the question is, how does one heal emotionally?
Okay, and I think because the topic is about grief and loss and losing a loved one, I don't think that you ever fully heal emotionally from losing a loved one. And I think sometimes because we can be in such pain from losing a loved one and losing someone that is so dear to us and so close to us, especially losing a child, which I can't imagine must be really difficult. But because of the intense pain that we feel, we just kind of want to stop feeling it. And so we almost desperate for healing. But at the same time, you also don't really want to let it go, because you can feel like, oh, okay, if I let it go and I stop feeling this pain, does it mean that I don't care about this person anymore? Or, my life is just going to move on and I'm never going to think about them or whatever it is. And it's not like that at all. This person is always going to be a part of your life. They're always going to have that space in your heart. And there are going to be days where you are going to experience intense of pain. And then there's going to be days that you're going to be okay. But I don't think that you can fully heal from, losing a loved one. But you can have those moments where some moments you're okay and some moments you're not. But you also just have to embrace it. So I think in this case, it's not that you're desperate for the healing, but you just embrace every moment that comes. And that can be healing in itself. That today I'm feeling okay, and that's fine. and tomorrow I'm not, or tonight I'm feeling really sad, and that's also okay. And that you just embrace every moment that it comes, and you don't like try to avoid feeling your feelings, or you don't also feel like, oh, I have to hold on, I think often we do feel like when we lose a loved one is that like, oh, if we haven't really thought about them today, like what's wrong? So sometimes we are in our own way of also healing because we're really holding on. But like as a human, there are times when we forget, and Allah also says that like for a human, like he made it that we can forget, and that's a blessing in itself, because we also need to love. Because imagine if we didn't forget things that happened to us, and we're living with all of these like traumas that happened in our life from our childhood, we wouldn't even be able to like get out of bed or walk or whatever it is. So like sometimes, yes, we go for therapy, and it's amazing, and we should, but also just embracing whatever you're feeling in the moment is in its own form healing, especially when you like losing someone that you love. And it's not a trauma that you experienced once off. Basically, it's something that you keep experiencing because you miss the person, you want to be with the person, and at the same time, okay, like this is from Allah, and you do accept it. But then there's moments where you also don't accept it, and those moments are also okay because you are human. And I keep saying this, and I keep even saying to Sabihah that like, Allah understands. Allah understands everything. We live in a culture, and we come from the society where it's like, oh, if you didn't accept this, then we can't question Allah, and like whatever it is. But as humans, if someone questions you all the time, then you're going to get irritated because you don't really have the answers. But Allah does, and He knows what's in your heart. He knows that even when you saying why Allah, you don't mean like this, like you don't accept it or whatever it is. Like it's Allah. He knows everything. He knows you in and out. He understands you. He doesn't judge you for the pain that you're going through. It's Allah. He understands. So I think just embracing each moment as it is, like Allah is there, He's gonna take care of you, and that is healing in itself. And earlier on, Sabihah made a really good point where she said that when you are brokenhearted, Allah sits in the hearts of the brokenhearted, and Shaitan will come in those moments because you're so vulnerable. And that's why I'm saying bring the awareness where when it's Shaitan, because when it's Shaitan, you can redirect that, all of that self-blame or all of that negative emotions into like, you know what, no, Allah is here, like He sits in the brokenhearted, and you can reconnect to Him, like you can just sit and talk to Him or whatever it is. When we say like reconnecting to Allah, it doesn't mean that we need to be sitting on our musalla and like making dua or like reading Quran and stuff. It's just that we just need to recognize that Allah is there. He's in our heart. We are in pain. We can just be like, Allah, like I'm really struggling today. Please help me. You just always come back to Allah, because even if Shaitan is like, we can't also avoid Shaitan, because he is always going to be there. He's always going to come to your mind and stuff. So he's going to come, and then he's going to make you think all of these things, and it's okay even if you did think those stuff. But then when you recognize it and you have that awareness, that's when you come back. Rumi has a beautiful quote, and he keeps saying like, come as you are, like however you are, broken, whatever, even if you have the most sins in the world, like just come back to Allah. Allah just wants you to come back. So if you got distracted and you were like feeling like angry at Allah, even that this happened to you, that this loss happened to you, and you so, because it's normal, you know, like I'm sure like if you know the stages of grief, this anger is one of the emotions that you're experiencing in like your grieving process, and it can like it can always be there. It can be so many years later, and you may also just one day feel so angry that this happened to you, and Shaitan came and you now started saying, oh like I don't know what I did. I never did anything wrong. I always did everything right, and why did Allah do this to me? Allah isn't going to judge you. Like when you recognize that, oh yeah, like I shouldn't be saying this, or I recognize it's from Allah, whatever, you just come back to Allah. That's all He wants, is that you keep coming back to Him in your pain, in your sadness, happiness, in whichever way. And He heals also, like especially when it's a loss, like the loss of someone that you love. You know, it's something that happens to everybody. Everyone experiences it. It's like a normal part of being a human being, that you're going to lose someone or whatever it is. But Allah is always there to mend you and mend your heart and be with you and be there. And each moment, whatever it is, whether you're feeling sad, happy, whatever, each moment is a moment where you are healing. You're healing as you are processing everything. Healing doesn't mean that we have to be doing something, like we have to be in therapy for 1 hour every week, and that's what's healing us. Healing can be so many things, you know. Healing can also mean that, I used, like this person, we used to do these things together, and like I'm struggling, like I don't really want to do it anymore. But then one day you find yourself like, you're gonna do it even if this person is not here, and you're okay, you're comfortable. It does hurt a bit, but you're comfortable. So every moment is a healing moment for whatever you're going through. It's not only like confined to therapy or to anything, like just like pray, like making dua or reading Quran or whatever it is. It's healing is in every moment.
I like that. I really like the part where you said that, you can grieve and you can heal at the same time. So it is something that can happen together. And also, you also pointed out that sometimes when you're healing, you sort of people can tend to feel guilty for feeling better. But feeling better through the process does not mean that you need to say goodbye to that person, or that
Yes.
you are almost forgetting a legacy that was left. So it is something that can happen at the same time. It's funny, I was speaking to my friend this morning, and she was like, you need to slow down. Are you really? And I said, you know what, I am at peace, but I feel sad. I'm sitting here and I'm feeling sad, but I am at peace. I accept the decision. It's just that I think for me, the healing comes in where you need to sort of heal the emotional aspect of it. And I think that's the most important thing. Like spiritually, you get it, you can't do anything, but it's the emotional side of it, the emotions of, um, you know, of going through it so that you can come out of it as a whole person, even though there are parts of you that are broken.
Absolutely. And it's pretty normal, and I think it's still so fresh for you right now. So I think, like I said, like a lot of times we just feel like we need to, like, yes, you can be at peace, but you can definitely feel sad at the same time, while you like at peace but you're still feeling sad. Like you can feel many things in the same moment. And sometimes, yeah, you like going through the emotions, and if it's still fresh, I think you just obviously need to still give yourself time, because you will feel whole again. And the emotions are there. It's still it's basically like you saying that you understand it spiritually and you understand it logically and all of that, but the emotions are still there, and we can't really like force our emotions not to be there. And I think that's sometimes something that we do. Like, I don't want to feel the sadness. I just want to feel normal again. So, and then that's when we're kind of desperate to feel better or to not feel the sadness or to not feel the grief or not feel the pain. Like the saying is that desperation is what's like desperation doesn't dissolve anything. It's actually like it makes you feel worse. Or so when you're desperate for something, then the more you like
Attract it almost.
attract it,
Or
yes,
feel
basically.
it
The more
when
you
you're
feel
trying
it, the more
to.
you attract it, the more, or like if you're desperate for something, the more it won't also come, like.
Yes.
So when we're so desperate, we kind of like, that's what we're experiencing. So we're like so desperate not to feel this pain, but then it's gonna linger for longer because we're not just like letting the process be. And I think this is like with all humans, we just really struggle to just like let the process take its course,
And surrender
and
to Allah.
surrender. Yes, exactly. And when we surrender, then it is easier to let go. Then we'll start feeling better. But because we generally have this desperation, it takes so much longer to like feel better and to basically like get through. So we ourselves are holding on to all of this pain and this emotion and whatever. And sometimes we just really need to just be like, it's okay, it's okay that I'm feeling sad and it's normal, and yes, whatever. And what I really find really amazing, and I think it's because like coming out of my divorce or whatever and experiencing all of that pain, I realized something that has been helping me a lot, and I think it can help a lot of people, is that like because we hear this all the time, we are familiar with it, but we haven't like really like put it to practice basically when we're going through a difficult time. Is that whatever you're going through, so like Allah even says in the Quran that like even just Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that even a thorn that pricks you is like a means of like your sins being forgiven, or like there's so much of reward in it. You're going to get so much better. And I realize like going through this, it's like I've just been saying all the time that like every time I experience some sort of pain or I feel anything, is that, oh, like, wow, Allah, like you love me so much that you even making me go through this like small slight pain or this big thing, that you want to give me better, or you want to. And obviously like with a loved one, it can never be replaced. Like nothing can replace a person that you lost, but that like the reward is going to be so much. So just bringing this awareness that every like bit of difficulty that I'm experiencing, even the grief in this moment that I'm experiencing, even though it's normal, and I like, because we don't realize like the power of Allah and like who Allah really is. And I think this is where.
But we'll talk more about that
Okay.
straight after this.
Okay.
Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
At Sentio, our Invest for Good philosophy is based on a genuine desire to use our investment skills for the benefit of broader society by investing responsibly, giving charitably, and developing talent that will transform the investment industry. Visit www.sentio-capital.com for more information about our Sharia investment products and start saving with us today. Sentio Capital. Invest for good. Sentio Capital Management is an authorized financial services provider.
Spread warmth this winter with Africa Muslims Agency's Winter Warmth campaign. Sayyidina Umar Al-Khattab radiallahu anhu would advise his companions, winter, which is an enemy, has come, so prepare for it with wool, leather socks and socks. Let us help the thousands of South Africans without adequate clothing or shelter to prepare for the harsh winter months by providing them with blankets for 150 Rand and winter warmth packs for 300 Rand. Spread warmth with Africa Muslims Agency. Call AMA on 011-834-8685 or donate online at africamuslimsagency.co.za. Africa Muslims Agency. Empowering, educating, inspiring.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
When you give water, you're reaching out to drought-affected areas, bringing them to life. Fresh water to drink, to clean, and to grow. That's the power of water. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying, or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Thank you so much for all those pearls of wisdom. I really found so much value in it. There is one thing though, and I don't know if it's spoken about often enough, and that is healing the trigger. Yesterday I got the news of somebody very close to me. Her daughter, who was also very young, had passed away in a very unnatural, unexpected way. And I was broken when I heard this. It felt like it was happening all over again to me. I felt all the same emotions. I actually spoke to somebody also, a mutual friend, and she said that she felt the same way, the same emotions that she had felt for when she heard about Muhammad. She felt the same yesterday as well. So is there such a thing as called healing the trigger? Because I think we could be in a position where we are sort of healing, we're moving forward, and then that incident would happen and it feels like we've done no work, or not even work. It feels like there's been no healing because all of it, or you sort of absorb it again in the same process.
Okay. Yes, there definitely is something as healing a trigger. And I think like healing a trigger, and this is what like emotional healing also focuses a lot on, is healing the trigger, because we have a lot of triggers and that's why, like we say, like a lot of the things are happening because of something that happened in the past, and because there's triggers every time there's a trigger, then we kind of feel the same emotion and we experience the same thing. So in emotional healing, we actually really do focus on the trigger and healing it, or like going back basically to the incident and like working on that part where we kind of like start accepting that this is what happened, and we like practice like maybe forgiveness, or we just see what we were feeling, because when something happens in the moment, like there's so many things happening, and so if we're not processing whatever is happening. So when we're healing a trigger, like at a later stage, now it's like when we are fully able to really process, like see everything as it really happened and it was, and there isn't so much of like chaos happening inside of us, like we're more at peace, so we're able to kind of heal the trigger in that moment in like the emotional healing session. And that can give you a lot of relief. So when you hear about these things again and whatever, it doesn't feel like you experiencing that all over again. Like you kind of like, yeah, it will still feel like a bit, like you'll think about it, but it won't be so triggering where it's like making you feel like you back in that moment and that no healing took place. But at the same time, when you feel like, oh, no healing took place, like after you like have calmed down from this situation and whatever, reassure yourself that the healing has taken place. It doesn't mean that because you were triggered in that moment that now you went back to square one where you haven't healed at all. Because like I say, like healing is happening continuously all the time in every moment. And even in the moments where you feel like, oh, like where it is a trigger, or you're feeling like the intensity of the pain and the grief so much, it doesn't mean that in that moment you can feel like, oh, it feels like this is the first time I'm feeling it and like I haven't healed at all. But that's not true. You have healed. It's just that in this moment this is what you're experiencing, but at a later moment you will realize that no, like I have come so far, because maybe in the first time this is the way I reacted, or if I didn't heal I would have reacted even worse. But like because like it was a trigger and I felt that, but you're not feeling it maybe as intensely as you did the first time, and that's where you can start. I think awareness in everything is just very important. You know, when we're aware of what's happening, how we're feeling, what's going on, and we are reflective about it, that's also important, because like I'm saying, we are healing, but sometimes we're just very hard on ourselves. And we're like, oh, I haven't gotten where I want to be, or whatever it is. But again, it does take time. Processing everything takes time, and it can take a different amount of time for everyone, and we shouldn't force it. We should just let it be and let it take its course, basically. And we shouldn't be afraid of feeling like our emotions also. And like, you know, we get very uncomfortable when we're feeling any emotion, any negative emotion, sometimes even positive emotions. Like we just get uncomfortable, but we should really start embracing it, because that's even where the healing is going to be taking place, because you are able to be comfortable that okay, it's okay that I'm feeling like this. You accept and you surrender, like you said earlier on.
And I think that's important. That's where the awareness comes in, when you can reflect and be like, okay, fine, this is my trigger. This is going to be something like, I'm going to take Suleiman for archery today, and I'm going to feel sad because this is
Yes.
something that I did with Mohammed. It's my
Yes.
trigger. So then, do you then sort of prepare for it, or can you be gentle with yourself during those moments when you know that something is going to happen which will be triggering, or when the trigger happens like completely, when you unexpectedly?
So I think obviously it depends, like you're saying, like in some cases you know that this is going to be a trigger for me because I'm doing this, and then in some cases it's just really unexpected. And I think in the unexpected cases you do have to be very gentle with yourself, and it just like hits you and you're like, okay, it's okay, it's okay, I'm triggered, it's normal to be triggered. I wish Muhammad was with me, and it's okay that you wish that he was with you. It's okay that you miss him so much. And again, that doesn't mean that you don't accept that this was the decree of Allah, that you wish he was here or whatever it is. Like, your feelings are always valid. What you feel, most of the time you can't help what you feel, so it's always okay. And then in other instances, like when you can sort of prepare yourself. Like, I mean, you would know what you need. Like, okay, I'm gonna go there, maybe just like play it in your mind or whatever, and say, okay, like, no, I'm at peace, and just maybe like, I guess, like, my thing is like, the best thing I can say is like, make dua, because again, we are helpless. Even like, even in therapy sessions and stuff, like, before I start the session, I'll always tell my clients, please make dua and ask for healing and stuff, because no one can help you besides Allah. We can't even help ourselves because we are so like helpless and we are so weak. So in the moments before, that, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I know it's going to affect me, you can make dua. You can make dua, or you can read dhikr and be like, Allah, I'm reading this dhikr, just like allow it to not affect me as much as it would have, and make dua and talk to Allah that, like, Allah, oh Allah, I'm really missing him. And even in the incident where it's like it's an unexpected trigger, and you can be gentle with yourself, but you can also talk to Allah, or just like read some dhikr or whatever, because we really underestimate like asking Allah, and we really underestimate the power that dhikr has. And I think that is like the most effective thing that you can have, and you can also do for yourself, that you turn to Allah, and obviously He is going to help you, because sometimes we feel like we can help ourselves, and then we like trying to figure out how can we help ourselves, and then again it's like this desperation and this need and whatever, and it becomes much. We are nothing. We like, so it becomes so heavy when we expect ourselves to help ourselves, but the help is ultimately from Allah.
And Allah always says, come to me empty,
Yes.
just bring it to me. And I promise you, there's so much a benefit in it, and you feel so much better when you're completely honest in that moment with Allah.
Definitely.
Okay, we will have 10 minutes left straight after this break, Fat.
Okay.
Media.
لا تقل لوحدي أو كيف السبيل.
Humanity sets the agenda.
The Turkey-Syria earthquake is among the deadliest earthquakes of the last century. Thousands have lost their lives, and large areas and cities and towns in southern Turkey and northern Syria have turned to rubble, leaving huge numbers of residents with very little or nothing at all. Al Imdad Foundation's emergency relief team is on the ground providing life-saving aid. The people of Turkey and Syria desperately need your support. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Online schooling? Why not? Kurtuba Online Academy is the leading global online Islamic school from grade R to matric, offering South African caps and international syllabus. And it doesn't stop there. We also offer online madrasa for every grade. For more information, visit www.kurtubaonline.co.za. Kurtuba Online Academy, the leading global online Islamic school.
They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, yet many children go to school hungry because of poverty. Penny Appeal South Africa's Breakfast Club aims to get a warm, hearty meal to underprivileged children so they can spend their day prospering in their schoolwork. Help feed a needy learner for only 5 Rand a day, or 150 Rand a month. Or visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573 to find out how you can donate. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference.
What makes Randery Jewelers the optimum place for your memorable gift? Is it our range of exclusive, high-end, luxurious jewellery? Or is it our master craftsmanship of all your bespoke jewellery needs? We believe it's because at Randery Jewelers, we know just how to make your special moments last forever. Whether it's for a wedding, anniversary, or just a simple gift to show your love, trust Randery Jewelers to make it special. www.randeryjewelers.com. Make your moments last forever with Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media.
Assalamu alaikum, and you are back with Salam Media, and we are discussing grief, and today's topic is emotionally healing. You know, Fatima, there is this term, and we hear it often, and it's everywhere, and I think it could mean different things for different people. But what does it mean to you when the term "be gentle with yourself"? What does that mean to you, or be compassionate with yourself? And what would the narrative in your mind be with this concept? And how do you know when you're not being gentle with yourself? When you're feeling guilty and you're not being gentle, how do you know?
Okay. I think being gentle with yourself is like the way you can recognize it is how you would be with someone else, because we are often very gentle with other people. Like if they are experiencing any loss or any pain or whatever, like we're not harsh on them, but then we are harsh on ourselves. Like, so when you find yourself like judging yourself, like pushing yourself in a sense where like you questioning yourself, I think when you're being harsh on yourself, when like you are questioning yourself and you're like, no, why am I being like this? Or you questioning it like, no, it's been this amount of time. So when there's that judgment and that questioning that you are experiencing in your mind, you know that you're being harsh with yourself. But being gentle with yourself is when you're like, it's okay, and that surrenderance where you embrace what you're feeling, you embrace who you are, you surrendering, that is, I think, when you're being gentle with yourself. And just the way like things that you'll say to a friend or to a family member that like may be experiencing like some sort of pain, and you will say to them, okay, it's okay. So just the way you're gonna be with someone else, be that same way to yourself. That's how you can be gentle with yourself, and you'll recognize that, okay, like I'm being compassionate and I'm being kind to myself by just when you're allowing yourself to be who you are, what you're feeling, whatever. That's obviously being gentle with yourself, not like this constant like judgment and questioning and like expectations. You know, we have a lot of expectations from ourselves, and that's the judgment part of ourselves. And then that's when we know, okay, like I'm just being really harsh with myself. But when you just recognize that, no, it's okay. I think just the mere fact that like it's okay, like this is what it is, and that's when you know that you're kind of being gentle with yourself. And again, like it's normal, you know, this is how we always were. So we're gonna find ourselves judging ourselves and having expectations from ourselves and being harsh with ourselves. But again, it comes back to the awareness and the reflection that like, okay, I'm doing this. Let me slow down. Let me just be like, it's okay. It's okay. And when you are, you know, they say that whatever it is that you're going through, with every difficulty comes ease. And that's one of the eases that there is when you can be gentle with yourself and you can just allow yourself to be. Because like we were also saying earlier, that you like I mentioned that, you know, like Allah is always there to help you, whatever it is. And when we are turning to Allah, and that's again another ease, it's like when you keep coming back to Allah and you asking Him for help, and you realizing that you don't have any control over anything and you don't have the power and you can't do anything about it. Like you're feeling this way, you can try your best, you know, you can take deep breaths to it, like be like, okay, just be gentle with yourself. Like we're saying, you recognize that it's okay. But when you like recognize Allah and you're also gentle with yourself, you really find that ease and that comfort. Like in that grief and in that like pain, you still feel like comforted. You feel okay. You literally will feel that ease. It's like that ease is also in the pain. So I think just like being aware that like I need to, and the more you do it, the more you start being gentle with yourself and kind to yourself and like stop judging yourself, the more natural, like the more it starts happening, like as the years go by. Like that's how you will be with yourself naturally, because it just takes like brain training, basically, you know.
I got you. We're going into ad and we will be talking more about that now.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists, with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
One word that changes the life of a child. Orphan. One word to replace smiles with tears, confidence with anxiety, and a future with fear. Help Africa Muslims Agency to give these orphans a new word. Hope. AMA's Orphan Hope program provides security for needy children in rural Africa, in Afghanistan, and in the Syrian and Palestinian refugee camps of Lebanon. For 15,000 Rand per year, you can change their life, give them hope, with Africa Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Kids these days are smart, and when you're competing for their attention against their smartphones, you need to make smart choices, like using Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil in every meal you make. It's naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether you're cooking, frying, or baking, you get the great tasting results that'll get their attention faster than the latest app. And if that doesn't work, change the Wi-Fi password. Sunfoil. Now we're cooking.
Imagine a world with hunger. Now you can change it. With Ashraful Aid, just 10 Rand feeds a hungry person. Visit www.ashrafulaid.org and donate a plate today. Your generosity changes lives. Let's feed the hungry together.
It's a new beginning. It's a new era. Salam Media, humanitarian journalism.
Assalamu alaikum, and we are back with Faatimah, and we are talking emotional healing. And so how would one replace this negative self-talk? And how do you recognize it? And another thing is, where does it come from? This unexpected or these unrealistic expectations that a person would have.
Okay, so one, it obviously comes from like growing up, from our childhood. Like we hear people around us, or we see people around us being the adults in our lives being hard on themselves, or then like the adults around us are like judging us as kids, and they expecting, because they have so much of expectations of each other, and then they have expectations of us as children. We start obviously like taking that on, and then it becomes like the story in our mind, or then like the beliefs and the belief system that we have. So it's there, and for a long time we don't recognize it. And I mean, until sometimes we don't go through anything, so we just don't recognize it. And sometimes, yeah, Allah puts us through something where He then gives us that as an opportunity to actually start recognizing these limiting beliefs and these negative beliefs and the stories that are in our mind. And again, it comes with awareness. For most parts of our lives, we just kind of existing and going, and we'll be believing, yeah, we're not good enough, and we're just going on, and this is just what we feel, and this is what we believe, and it's making us miserable. But we have no idea that this is what's making us miserable, because we're not even aware that this is the belief in our mind that like, I'm not good enough, or this is my fault, or whatever it is. So again, it really comes with the awareness. When you're feeling a certain way, it's very, because we all feel these ways, and like now when you lose someone, it's you're gonna feel so much. But that's when we have to sit with ourselves and be like, okay, like let me just like dissect this a bit and see what's happening. Like I'm feeling this way. And most of our feelings can also come from like the limiting beliefs or the negative beliefs, and that like expectation from ourselves, because like even like when you're experiencing a loss, sometimes, especially like a loss of the child, you always feel like you didn't do enough. And that's what actually gets to you much more than anything. Like maybe I wasn't a good enough mother, maybe I didn't do enough, maybe I didn't allow them to do this, all of that, and then that makes you go into this whole negative spiral of like even the self-blame and stuff. So again, it's like recognizing, like, so now you're going to ask yourself, okay, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling this way, where is it coming from? What is this? Why ask yourself, why is a very important question, especially when it comes to like self-reflection and stuff, like why am I feeling like this? And most of the time will come like, oh, like I'm feeling like this because I feel like I didn't do enough. And then you have to just kind of change that narrative, like I did the best that I could do in that moment or in this time. Like I didn't know that you don't know that someone is obviously like Allah is going to take them away, so you're just doing your best and you like, yeah, one day we'll do that. So we don't know. So you do have to just be gentle with yourself and like remind yourself and change that narrative every time that narrative pops in your mind that this is not true, because you're going to ask yourself, is this true? Did I really not? But you were genuinely doing the best that you could. And so you're going to keep reminding yourself that no, I was doing the best. And like, sometimes you can just say, Allah, please help me to recognize that I did my best. You ask Allah again, you turn to him and you ask Allah, you're like, Allah, was I doing my best? And your answer will come. And obviously, like in your mind, you're going to feel a yes. And then you take solace and comfort in that and like, okay, I did do my best. And immediately you'll feel a bit more settled because now you're like, okay, or like you like, oh, it was my fault and whatever. And then you'll be like, but now he's in a better place or she's in a better place. And that gives you that comfort. So it's recognizing what those beliefs are. So you just have to take like a moment to just ask yourself why and sit with yourself and see where all of that is coming from, so you can recognize it and then change the narrative.
Thank you so much. I think that's very important to always be so aware of what we are feeling. And sometimes if it becomes too much, just be present, bring
Yes.
yourself back to the present, clear your mind, go for that walk, do some grounding. And sort of when you come back to it, you find that you have a completely different perspective and you feel differently as well. Faatimah, how can people get in touch with you?
Okay, so you can get in touch with me on Instagram. So you can follow my Instagram page. It's Faatimah _M. Faatimah is spelled Faatimah, then _M. But if you're following Sabihah, you'll probably easily find my page. And yeah, I offer emotional healing therapy. I offer coaching if you're struggling with like the spiritual aspect of life or general life coaching. But I like my focus is always on like just going back to Allah. So even in my emotional healing sessions, it's all about connecting to Allah, inshallah.
And do you see only a specific gender or is it both males and females?
No, so I only see females, and yeah, but I do therapy for any aspect, like whatever your struggles are. It's not, I don't have a specific niche. It's for anything.
Okay, so it's not specifically for spiritual reasons. Yes. It's for anything that you're struggling with, but it has a very strong Dini foundation.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Okay. Jazakallah so much for joining us today and for sharing so much about such an important topic that I think we don't speak about as much as we should, that, when we heal emotionally, this is the one thing that actually brings us closer to Allah, because then we can experience Him and then we can see Him and we can feel so much better. And, we are just so much more happier because we've completely surrendered and that we accept that even those emotions that are not always positive is a normal human thing. But we're just always mindful that no matter what we're doing or where we are, Allah has always got our back and everything is actually for our benefit. Whatever we go through, it's for that one reason, always. Absolutely. So thank you so much. And yeah, we will be sharing Fatima's details as well on all our platforms. And if you enjoy this, or if you do follow Salam Media, please remember to subscribe on the link at the bottom. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.